quite annoying. For some reason, it's gone to my personal page. Why? All right, I'm just running it like that. Okay, I am with Candace Decker and Mike Rolewicz.
Hey now.
We're trying to get this on my business page, but for some reason it didn't want to play. So here we are. Anyway, what I wanted to do is just introduce themselves. It's my Facebook page with the video, so everyone knows who I am. If you don't, my name's Darren Dowling. I'm a realtor in the Sarasota area. I cover Sarasota and Manatee County. So I'll pass the baton to Candace. She can let everyone know where she's from and where she services.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. I'm Candace Decker. I run a real estate team here in Cape Coral, Florida. We service Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, all the way down to North Bay.
Huge area. Mike.
All right, so Northeast Florida. Thanks for having me, Darren. Candace, always a pleasure. So Northeast, so I'm Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacksonville, Neptune, Atlantic Beaches, down in Orange Park, St. Augustine. So pretty big MSA, big landmass, and kind of a lot of little pockets and submarkets where we are.
Awesome. So obviously we're all being affected market-wise by the coronavirus, Corvid-19. Let's go over what and how it's affecting our area, our markets, data-wise. I'll kick the ball off first. I've broken my numbers down by county, Sarasota and Manatee County. Full disclosure, I did pull these numbers yesterday, over the last 7 days from yesterday. So they may have changed slightly as of today. Anyway, active listings in Sarasota County in the last 7 days, based off the whole sky is falling, the biggest economic drop we've seen, stock market wise anyways, 315 active listings. That averages out to about 45 listings hit the market every day last week, just over 13 homes an hour. So quite promising with people wanting to sell their homes. Pendings down if we look at March last year. However, still 184 homes in Sarasota County went under contract. That's 26 a day and about 8 an hour. So can't really complain given the doom and gloom out there. And very happy to see the closed units, 274, 39 homes a day. We'll round that up to 12 homes an hour sold. So obviously they're not as affected. Those homes probably all went under contract a month ago. Manatee County looking at 281 active homes, 40 a day, 12 an hour. So good listing activity in Manatee County. Pending 149 units went under contract. And I know we're all doing the same thing here. We're combining single family homes, condos, everything's all lumped together here. So that's 21 homes a day, 6 homes an hour, and 192 solds. So about 28 homes a day, 8 an hour. So considering pretty active out there. Obviously we're all seeing pendings are probably down, but could be a lot worse. How about you, Candace?
Yeah, so really a similar situation. We've seen, and I do cover a large area, so these are broad numbers, but we've seen 733 properties come on the market just in the last week alone. We've had 550 go pending within the last week, which, you know, I think considering the circumstances, I think that's still a great number. And we're going to go over in a little bit how the virus is affecting our showings right now. But we are seeing anywhere between 82 and 130 go under contract every day here. And we've had 730 close in the last week. So all the numbers have really stayed consistent, seeing people actively listing, going under contract, and title companies and lenders and real estate agents still getting deals closed.
How about you, Mike?
So I went probably a little more granular. I kind of looked at the hot sheet that I'm pulling every day. So I'm looking south side of Jacksonville into Ponte Vedra out towards the beaches. New listings, if we look at the week from 3/9 to 3/15, that Monday through Sunday period, we had 147 new listings. This past week, 3/16 to 3/22, when we were all starting to spend a whole lot more time at home, actually up 11%. 166 during that time. We did see, so we usually in our market, we don't go straight to pending. We go contingent take backup first. That's kind of the next status when a property goes under contract. So that did dip. That went from 79 the week ending the 15th down to 49 this past week. So those are kind of the ones that are just going under contract. So that definitely speaks to fewer showings, people kind of hitting the pause button a little bit, or, kind of relying on virtual showings and then saying, okay, I like what I saw on that. Now let's go see if we can get permission to go see it. Closings are still happening. Closings were up 13% last week versus the prior. Withdrawn. So we've got a new, I think they're allowing withdrawn to go from 30 days now to 90. Where it kind of turns off your days on market. And usually those are you've got some reason you can't show your home. So those we've seen 2 weeks ago, 21, the week from 3/9 to 3/15, only 12. And then this past week up to 22 again. So a slowdown in kind of things going under contract, but closings are still happening. Title companies are adapting, lenders are adapting, those things are happening, and us as agents are adapting. Mm-hmm. Certainly asking more questions before we're showing properties now.
Absolutely. Yep. And so with that being said, what are you guys seeing from a change on what we're seeing in regards to doing business? So I had my first close-in last week where everything was mobile notary. The notaries went to the buyer and the seller's homes, which, by the way, they weren't even in the same towns. They weren't even in the same county. Buyer was up in Hillsborough County in Tampa area. This was a Northport home for sale in the southern side of Sarasota County. And mobile notaries split up, got docs signed, scanned it, emailed it to title. Title, obviously, that were working from home. Smooth, amazing with what we can do with technology and just getting these deals closed. Obviously, I'm doing a lot of virtual showings as well, and kind of even just showing the property myself with clients on FaceTime or whatever app they're wanting to use, Skype, whatever technology they're more comfortable with, and showing homes that way just to eliminate any risk. How about you guys? What are you seeing?
Very similar. And, it's kind of interesting because we're in second home markets. So some of the things that other realtors around the country might be adapting to right now, we've been doing for years. But yeah, seeing the same thing. I mean, just going more virtual with things. And I talked with the manager of my title company yesterday, and they are really doing everything that they can right now to make closings happening. And they're doing things they've never done before. So they're even talking about doing e-notary service now, so that a notary doesn't physically have to go to somebody's home in order to close a property. Because she said that there was a notary who had to go into a nursing home to have a seller sign docs. So I think there'll be a lot of changes that happen and continue to happen in the next couple of weeks.
How about you, Mike? You're the closer.
So my two most recent closings, so one was a mail away, buyer was in Ohio. So that was kind of what we see when we have a mail away. It was just a little gnarlier, just picking stuff up from the title company once they were gone, and that is what it is. We have made some changes when there are in-person closings now. You know, it used to be, hey, come one, come all. Everybody come in, bring the kids. The agents are at the table. Now it is only the signatories. If there's an in-person closing, and they're probably social distancing at the table, certainly. You know, our title company is working towards kind of an e-sign platform or some way to do that. Because I know buyers and sellers have been asking, okay, we did everything in dot loop. Why is it now suddenly we have to go to wet signatures? So that may be a kind of positive outcome for all of us, that becomes kind of the wave of the future, that e-notary solution, or being able to e-sign loan docs, or whatever that looks like. In terms of showings, I know we're going to cover the showing time data. They're down. What I'm doing on my listings now is really vetting people a little bit more. You know, not that I don't trust the agents on the other side, but if somebody's going to go into a home and I've got a seller with 2 and 4-year-old kids, like, guess what? I want to see everything that you would give me with an offer. I want to see pre-approval or proof of funds, and do they have a home to sell? Kind of where are they in the process? And I think certainly this has taken the window shoppers out of the market for now, because even people that I've been working with that were very, very active, a lot of them, you know, they're hitting that pause button right now. So the folks that were kind of thinking about it, they're kind of on the sidelines now, you know, kind of waiting. And I think there's a certain demographic of folks that, even as cash buyers, they're still just kind of wanting to see what plays out. But with that being said, deals are still being done. I had a listing go under contract in 3 days. Priced right, updated. The stuff that's selling still sells. The stuff that wasn't selling before is probably going to sit a little bit longer. And I think those are the sellers that need to kind of really do some soul searching on, do I withdraw? Do I let these days on market compound? Do I do a price reduction? So having those discussions is also kind of starting to happen.
And I think that the realtor associations are looking at potentially, this is just a rumor, putting the days on market on pause right now. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard it in the MLS, but I've heard rumblings that the websites, you know, Zillow's, the Realtor.coms, will be doing that, which I think that's a great thing, to be honest with you. However, we know that Zillow is still getting, what, 140 million views, down a little bit. Everyone's at home. I think they're online shopping a lot. But to Mike's point, it's really got the serious buyers out there now. We've cut the fat, so naturally showings are down, compounded by the fears that are out there in the marketplace. But you know, we've got sites like Boomtown. For those of you who are watching that don't know who Boomtown are, it's a real estate website for agents that attracts buyers, and traffic for those sites are only down, what, 7%? But the time that each buyer is spending on the website or on each property page is actually up 3.5%.
Yeah.
So
you guys are seeing on your end, because we use a very similar platform to Boomtown, and we're seeing a large uptick of buyer activity. And I think that's because the people who are, they might have stay-at-home orders, they're spending more time on their computers, and they're probably getting excited about the opportunity to buy a home here in Florida.
Yeah, similar. I'm getting more notifications that, hey, Darren's back on your website after 30 days, or somebody's logged in 2 or 3 days in a row. So I think you're seeing more of that. Now, whether or not those are the ready tomorrow, despite everything that's going on, buyers, or if they're more the window shoppers, that's what's kind of hard to discern. You know, certainly the traffic on Zillow is down. I'm a premier agent with Zillow. It's a source of business for me. It's ticked down, but not a ton, honestly. I think we were all a little spoiled. So one of the stats I looked at was kind of what was my market doing before this? It was insane. I mean, inventory was down. Duval County, we were down to 3 months of inventory from about 4 months the same time last year. St. Johns County, the same. So kind of across the board, inventory was going down, prices were going up. Closings, spiked in December like they often do. They dropped in January, like spring started January 2nd. So that's when this kind of hit. It's like, whoa, I think there's going to be a wild amount of pent up demand once whatever this new normal, when we kind of shift out of this. I think it's going to go bananas because those folks are still there. With the government buying unlimited mortgage-backed securities, interest rates on mortgages are going to start to tick back down. People get back to work. I think it's going to come back the way it did from other events that weren't housing crisis related, like 07, 08. So that's definitely what I'm seeing on my side. Is I think there's going to be a real pent-up demand. And depending on what happens, inventories may creep up if listings still happen and there's fewer showings. But I think when these people jump back in the market, I think it'll get snatched up pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think right now people really are interested in looking at more information about what's happening in their markets, and then how is this affecting home values. So realtor.com has been down 10% for activity, but the most searched item on their website is real estate news. So everyone wants to know, how is this going to affect their value?
Yep. Lots of questions out there for sure. So let's jump over to like open houses. Obviously the MLS, we all use different MLSs. I'm not sure which individual ones you're on. I'm on Stella. No more open houses, and Coldwell Banker as a whole have. Oh, and we've lost.
Candace just disappeared all at once.
Ghosted. Anyway, open houses not actually taking place now. Not allowed to enter them in the MLS, and as a brokerage, it's a policy that's been put in place there. Are you seeing the same thing, as the same play been ran on your end there, Mike?
Yeah, and actually our brokerage, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Florida Network Realty, we run kind of mega open house events probably once a quarter. So this past weekend, it was like, hey, get your open house in the MLS, 2-3 weeks before, so we can boost them and do all this work. We ended up kind of doing virtual open houses because you couldn't put them in MLS, and for a myriad of reasons, it's just not the time to be doing open houses. So the solution was, they would use the video that we had shot, or just taking pictures, putting moving slideshows together to do more virtual open houses. So our numbers were still good in terms of engagement and click-throughs and everything like that. It just wasn't me there with, cookies and donuts saying, hey, welcome to 1997 Spoonbill. People got to do that kind of virtually online. Again, I think when the pendulum swings, open houses will certainly be a way to get homes sold, to get them exposed, to meet neighbors and things like that. But I think there's going to be a pretty long pause on that.
Yeah. No, I've been doing a lot more Matterports for 3D tours to do virtual open houses. So I'm not even there. Sellers can stay home and just leveraging technology that way for virtual open houses. We missed you. We lost you there, Candace. So yeah.
I think everyone's watching Netflix and it's affecting the internet. So.
Oh, you're losing bandwidth.
Yes.
The Tigers, Tiger King, it's fascinating.
So I found this really interesting because on Friday I looked at the open house data, and there were 655 open houses scheduled in this area for the weekend. 655
last weekend.
It's last weekend.
Okay.
I mean, they shut us down now, but I think that agents wanted to proceed with open houses, and sellers, some of them may have wanted those to continue. So, so yeah, those obviously were all shut down. But yeah, like you were saying, Mike and Darren, I think there's so much opportunity to use technology now. And, you know, I've worked with several buyers who have bought sight unseen. And so I would think that there's still buyers out there that have no problems with doing that.
Right. And there's more addendums that have been drawn up now for the sales contract in regards to virtual showings, virtual open houses that lead to sales. Again, we're all in a second market. There's definitely been times where, you know, I've sold condos sight unseen before, you know, walking around with my phone and just showing it off that way. And that was years ago. So it's nothing new there. Took a listing last week, 1.5 million through Instagram. Pretty much could use what I'd already seen, you know, taking social distancing as serious as we can in our line of field, line of work. And, you know, yeah, got the listing. I did go out there, but, you know, it's easy to stay away from someone when it's 10.5 acres. So,
and you know, I've jumped on Zoom with my 80-plus-year-old clients. So, you know, I think we've all adapted to technology so well that this doesn't seem foreign anymore.
Yep. No, I agree. And, you know, employers that were like, oh, you can't work from home, that's impossible. I think that's one of the things that will definitely be changing once this is all said and done. So that kind of leads us over to showing time. We're not necessarily going over the data here. We'll save that one for last. However, no overlapping showings now. So to say that I had a showing and it was scheduled from 1 to 1:30, Candace can't schedule hers from 1:15 to 1:45. So there's time apart, obviously, from a sanitary perspective, I guess, even if the house isn't getting cleaned, just less people around the same area.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be mad if we kept this rule, because I think that exclusive showings are really important. However, I think right now we have to ensure the safety for ourselves, our clients, the agents who are showing our listings. And I know we have gloves, we're wearing gloves and Lysoling everything. And so I think it just has an extra sense of safety right now.
Yep.
And I've actually always, when I would set up and showing time on my listings, I never allowed it before. I just wasn't a huge fan of the idea of that. Now, you know, hey, nothing motivates a buyer like another buyer. It's still, you know, and I think usually even when there were overlapping, a lot of times if one agent showed up, you know, they'd kind of knock on the door, notice the lockbox was empty. Oftentimes they'd wait outside anyways, unless it's a, you know, humongous home where two people can be so far apart on it. So to Candace's point, I could see this as something going forward where either an agent kind of makes it their practice, or the app kind of forces 15-minute gaps in there, whatever that might look like going forward.
Yeah, I really think that this has opened the doors to so many changes in our industry that we continue to move forward with. So I think that's the silver lining.
Yes, definitely. So let's see if we can get this one working. I'm going to have to do my screen share here. We've got a lot of people out there that kind of buy into the doom and gloom without knowing all the facts. And I think, you know, we'll all agree here that facts overcomes fear. So let's go over some graphs that we've got here. Let me just start doing a screen share. I'll hide you guys out. Hopefully everyone can still hear you. I can hear you. So let's go over and just give me a shout if something isn't working here. 5 simple graphs proving this is not like the last time, and the last time meaning the housing crisis of 08. Obviously that stock market crash, that recession was actually caused by a housing crisis, not the stock market. A lot of people forget that. And since then, there's been a lot of things, a lot of rules, regulations in regards to finance in the mortgage world to stop what was happening previously, right? So we've got, you have certain credit scores, employment history, tax returns. You can't just make up a number. So that's the first bit of data we've got. Do you guys want to add anything to this, to really kind of separate what was the past and what is now? I can hear you. Have we lost? Yep, Mike is there. I can hear Mike. So yeah, did you guys want to add any additional info onto, your thoughts on what's changed financing wise?
Fannie Mae might be dropping down. Fannie Mae may drop some appraisal requirements depending on loan to value and things like that. But the pendulum's not going to swing to the point where people are buying homes they can't afford. And that hasn't happened. What happened is literally we turned the switch to our global economy off kind of overnight. So that's unprecedented. It's, kind of a more of a geopolitical almost thing versus what we had before, where there was this lead up and everyone could see the writing on the wall. Just people didn't want to maybe see it in front of their face. So I think now you're going to come out of this with that pent up demand. And I think the housing market's going to stay remarkably stable and probably lead us out of this. Because I know a lot of people, real estate's a very safe investment. So where do you flee when your stocks are plummeting? You flee to safety. You flee to something that over time has given very, very good results. And that even if it's not a primary residence, I know myself, even before COVID-19, I was looking more and more towards real estate as one of my investment pillars.
Sure. Candace, do you want to have your say? I know the mic and the audio kind of got a little bit mixed up there. So
that's okay. So to piggyback on what Mike was saying, there's going to be this pent up demand that's going to happen. And, we don't know when right now because we're just taking this day by day and we're in uncharted territory. So we're not going to know more until it actually takes place. But I think, and, even with the GDP right now, which we're going to see a big drop off in the second quarter, but then we're going to see the gains again in quarter 3 and 4. I think we're going to see the same thing with the market. We're going to see sales go down. And then as soon as, the floodgates open, everybody's going to want to transact and buy and sell. So I'm very positive about quarter 3 and 4. Quarter 2, we're still unsure.
Right. Well, I mean, and that what you're saying, that kind of leads us perfectly into like home price appreciation, right? So like you're saying, we've been having a nice, slow, steady growth and a balancing of the market in the last 6 years versus over 10% gains, which has historically never been the case in US history leading up to 08. So we've got definitely different worlds in regards to how homes are appreciating here versus the early 2000s. And I think that's definitely one huge factor here that that we come across probably quite a lot more so than the regular consumer. I mean, we call a lot of people, we meet with a lot of for sale by owners and stuff like that, and it still blows my mind that there's still people that are upside down from when they bought in 07 and 08. That's just how expensive homes got, and people weren't even making the money they are now. So I think that's another really big factor into what we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we have to look at the inventory levels too. You know, there is a shortage of homes,
Yeah,
right?
let me bring
So,
that up. That
mhm,
brings us to our month supply. This
yeah.
tells a true telling story right here.
Mhm, mhm. And just for context, you know, a balanced neutral market where there's the same amount of buyers and sellers has about a 6-month supply. So 2007, we saw a buyer's market where there were more buyers than sellers. And now we've shifted, we are in a seller's market with only 3.1 months supply of inventory. So totally different picture here than
Yep,
2007.
absolutely. You know, and one thing in my marketplace in particular is not all the new construction is in the MLS. You'll probably see the same thing with the big builders in your markets. Um, so what the number is in my local market, I think there's a little bit more than what you'd think. However, stuff has been moving so quickly. I don't doubt it that there is overall a shortage, and especially in affordable housing. I mean, my last listing that I put, you know, in the mid twos, that went to multiple offers, people going like 15, 20,000 over ask to just get the house, because there's just such a shortage of inventory there of quality move-in product out there.
Mhm.
And then yeah, let's push it on to the other big factor here of the median income needed to purchase a medium priced home. Big difference here, right?
Yeah, and that speaks to that first slide, that affordability index. You know, it's more affordable now than it was then. Rates are lower. You know, it's all, the ingredients are all there for a strong housing market. It's just we need the uncertainty to pull away, the virus to pull away, the activities that we're doing and not doing to see the fruit of that. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, yeah. And let's move on to the last one, which, you know, I moved to the US right before this happened. I was in Charlotte County, living in the harbor. So Port Charlotte's got actually one of the biggest, or the biggest natural harbor in the US. Huge boating community, similar to what Candace sees in Cape Coral. And boat sales were through the absolute roof. And it was all people pulling out their equity out of their homes and buying, you know, jet skis, boats, ATVs. Well, I like to call them depreciating assets. Not the smartest move. So you can definitely see the difference from then and now of what people are doing with their asset, with their equity, which is either just keeping it, locking it in, or using it to pay off debt instead of racking up more. So that's one big difference I see now versus then. You guys got any thoughts on what you've been seeing? With, obviously we've seen a lot of people doing refis when the rates really dropped. You know, what did you see people refiing and using that money for?
Yeah, so refis, and I don't have the source with me, but I found the other day that refis are up 489% from last year. So a lot of people are refinancing, most of them for better rates. So I'm not seeing a lot of people pulling money out. I'm just seeing them refi for that lower monthly payment. What about you, Mike?
Clients and friends of mine, they're not doing cash out refis either. Some of them, if they bought, you know, 09, 10, well, now they've been in their house 10 years at a 30-year. They're like, okay, with rates where they are, what I've paid down, I'm going to just change my amortization. I'm going to go from a 30 to a 15. Two things happen. Rates lower, payment might stay the same, may go up or down a little bit, but the interest on that kind of second tail of that loan is going to be so much less. So that's what folks are doing. And, you know, some investor clients and myself included, if I've got a home equity credit line to tap, I'm going to use it to buy investment properties that are going to cash flow, not to buy boats and all that good stuff. And again, it was a more reckless time there. I think people that kind of lived through that, the lessons were certainly learned. I don't think anybody took a whole lot of pleasure or pride in, being upside down their house, having a foreclosure, going through that, sort of process. So I think this next generation of buyers, maybe they saw that pain in their parents, or they saw it somewhere generationally where they're like, I'm not going to get in that same pickle or in that same predicament. But no, the refis down here and talking to lender partners, it's primarily been either lower my payment or lower my term. Get me out from under, mortgage faster.
Yep. Seems not a lot of people like debt anymore. So from what happened in 07, 08, it was a big lesson learned. So just got one more graph to show here, showing data. So this probably explains why we've seen less homes going pending than usual. We are down and this is Florida. Okay, so let's just for a baseline, let's just show what North America's doing. This year's peak, we're down 45.7, 46.9 from this time last year. We've surpassed the national level here. And again, I think that a lot of this could be just down to the average age of people. People are taking steps to social distance and kind of just keep to themselves, which this is a good thing to see, I guess, from a health standpoint. But we're down 56% on showings, which I think that's very telling. That's backing up what we've been seeing, but we're getting around it with technology.
Yeah. And for us in Southwest Florida, we have a lot of buyer clients who are we're supposed to travel down here to look at homes, to vacation, to learn more about the area, maybe have an exploratory visit, wanting to view a few homes. And we see that a lot during this time of year. And we weren't able to have these buyers travel here. So I think for us being in the second home markets, it might be a little bit more hard hitting on us because they couldn't actually get here.
So what do you guys think? Obviously tax season's been pushed out more, right? So we're all in Florida. This is our snowbird time, right? So this is where everyone out of state comes down, buys their holiday home or their full retirement home.
Yeah.
If nip this thing in the bud sooner than a lot of people are thinking, and with tax season being pushed down, are we crazy to think that we might just have an extended snowbird season? Possibly, maybe.
I think so. I think if we're able to get out of this by maybe late May, because snowbirds really love their summers up north. So yeah. I think we're going to see maybe May if we're able to get through this by May, or we're going to see maybe a push off till September, October. But I know that those snowbirds that want to be here, they're going to find a way to be here because they love Florida.
For sure.
Yeah, I talk to people in Pennsylvania, they're climbing the walls right now. And this will be a full-time move for them. In my market, it's not a ton of second homes, it's more primary residences, but there's a smattering of second homes. Two of mine this year are kind of, one's going to become a primary residence, the other will be a vacation and rental property. But yeah, those folks are just trapped where they are. And to Candace's point, sooner it ends, the better, where they would kind of make that trip before they're into their routine and their primary spot, whether it be the Northeast, Midwest, wherever they might be coming from. And I think once this all clears, I think that graph is going to do the U shape we expect. It's going to hockey stick the other way. Rates, again, I can't necessarily see them going up. The projections are they're going to be back in that mid 3 range within 30 days as the government buys those MBS. So the market will be here. It's just a matter of what does that timing look like when those folks can get down here.
Yeah. Well, has anyone else got any any points to put out there? I know you've got to get bouncing, Candace, so we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
I just want to know, Darren, what's your favorite Mexican food to eat on a Tuesday?
Tacos.
All right. Love you, brother. It's
Taco,
just,
taco.
it's not it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
So
Work with us. Taco.
Taco. It's
Taco
good.
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. It just
That's
sounds
better. You got it.
There you go. I'm working my accent. You guys are so proud of me.
I love it. I
Very
love
proud.
your accent. I am proud of you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the last point, besides taco versus taco, is that we're expecting home values to remain the same, and that we have a positive outlook for quarter 3 and 4 of this year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be huge.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. Well, good to see you guys.
And you, see you time. I'll let you get back to working. I know we're all busy, so.
All right, thanks for putting it together, Darren.
You got it. We'll do another one soon. All right.
All right,
Take it easy. Be safe.
Thank you.
Be healthy. See ya. Bye.